Hey, what's good, fam? It's Kyle Henderson of BamaInsider.com with some breaking news. Nick Saban is expected to add Jay Graham to the coaching staff. Graham was a standout all-SEC running back for Tennessee from 1993 to 1996, rushing for 2,600 yards. Most recently, Graham was the running backs coach for Tennessee during the 2020 season. Previous to that, from 2018 to 2019, Graham was at Texas A&M, where he was a running backs coach and special teams coach. And before that, from 2013 to 2017, Graham was the running backs coach and special teams coach at Florida State. Remember, Florida State won a national title during the 2013 season. In 2018, Graham coached Trayvon Williams at Texas A&M to post 2,000 yards, which was all-time marks at Texas A&M. And Graham made a tremendous impact at Florida State during his tenure for 5 seasons from 2013 to 2017. In addition to coaching the running backs duties, he also oversaw special teams in his final 4 seasons with the Seminoles. Let's zoom in real quick on the guys that Jay Graham has coached that are now in the NFL. Cam Akers, round 2 from Florida State to the Rams. Another running back, Trayvon Williams, as we talked about, Texas A&M to the Bengals. Dalvin Cook, drafted in the 2nd round, Florida State to the Vikings. Roberto Aguayo from Florida State to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You also have Marcus Lattimore, drafted in the 4th round to the San Francisco 49ers. All-Americans, Trayvon Williams, Dalvin Cook, Roberto Aguayo, and Marcus Lattimore. So overall, I mean, what is Jay Graham bringing to Alabama? I think he's bringing a lot of experience. And I love the fact that, maybe he can splash off on the running backs as well. Look, I know that Alabama is going to need a replacement for Charles Huff. I mean, Charles Huff played a gigantic role here at Alabama over the last couple of seasons before getting a head job at Marshall, which was well-deserved. And I know that Alabama is bringing in Robert Gillespie from North Carolina. So I think when you have Robert Gillespie, you have the mind of Jay Graham, both in the running back room. I think that is going to add value overall to the coaching staff. And I think mostly recruiting-wise as well. I mean, you're talking about guys who can go out across the country and continue to land home run hires. Just look at who Jay Graham has brought to the schools that he's worked for. I mean, it's really tremendous. So you have him, you have Robert Gillespie, and then you add on the 2 former NFL football coaches. This is a tremendous staff that Nick Saban has built. And I think Nick Saban needed somebody to come in that had special teams experience, clearly. And look what Will Reichert's doing, right? Last year, he was literally perfect. So, working with the tight ends, you have some great experience, being that Jaleel Billingsley is coming back, Major Tennyson, Robbie Oots is coming on board as an early enrollee. So there is some experience and there's some new blood coming in at the tight end position. And special teams-wise, you look to where Alabama ended the 2020 season. Pretty much perfect, right? You got to maybe throw in some new wrinkles with some kick returners or punt returners, whatever you have it. But I think Jay Graham is another big-time hire. And look, I want you just to step back when you look at Nick Saban's staff because, you have Nick Saban, who coached in the NFL. He was a head football coach of the Miami Dolphins. Then you have Doug Marrone, just added as the offensive line coach, coached the Jacksonville Jaguars, wasn't an assistant coach, he was a head coach. And then you have Bill O'Brien, who was a head football coach and GM with the Houston Texans. So overall, I mean, if you can understand this is a tremendous staff that Nick Saban has built going into the 2021 season. And the plus side is the entire defensive staff from last year is still on board. Pete Golding, Carl Scott, Charles Kelly, Freddie Roach, all those guys. Oh, Sal Sincere, can't forget about him. All those guys coming back. So you got a great nucleus on the defensive side of the ball. And I think going in, it's going to be Alabama's offense. Look, sources have told me that this is going to be Alabama's offense and that Bill O'Brien knows the system coming in. Remember, I think a lot of this offense started to make a transformation during that 2017 season when Brian DeBall came from the New England Patriots. I think they've added to it. I think they've added some new wrinkles, but that's kind of the new formula. And don't forget, Bill O'Brien worked with Bill Belichick during his tenure as well. So I think from the schematic standpoint, you're going to be really pleased to see what you're going to get from the Alabama offense. But overall, Nick Saban continuing to add great additions to the staff. Jay Graham, a wealth of knowledge. I think he's going to do fantastic on the recruiting front as well. I mean, this guy is kind of a 5-star ninja if you kind of dive into the guys that he has brought on board whether that's going to be at Texas A&M, Florida State. I mean, the guy didn't have a lot of time at Tennessee this past season to do, much recruiting. But I think overall, this is a great hire for the Crimson Tide. So breaking news, Jay Graham coming from Tennessee to Alabama. Stay with BamaInsider.com as we continue to provide more coverage on the